Hey guys, welcome back to Trekyards. I am Captain Foley.
I'm Connor Cockings, and we are back on Discovery, the culmination of things, plots, people. I want to know what you think, Stuart. Go straight into it. What was the episode, and what did you think? I want to know.
Well, this was episode 13, called What's Past is Prologue. And I did my spoiler-free first reaction video last night. I was really excited about this one. A lot of great action, a lot of great movement, a lot of great things happening on screen, a lot of good payoffs, and at the same time, a few things that were kind of like left in the dust as far as explanation goes, but that's been kind of the ongoing theme with Discovery so far. Overall, good episode, and really ended on an up, like a action-packed note. Got a little bit more of a Star Trek feel from the ending, or action-oriented kind of thing. So really, one of my favorite episodes so far.
It's nice that we can say that most weeks, that these are the better episodes. But again, as we've always said, they rewrote heavily, rescripted. These ones had also months in between, and they were filming them a little bit, right at the end. When they already filmed previous stuff, so they knew where they were going better at this point. Yeah, for me, I still don't know what I think about the episode fully.
Really?
Yeah, I was watching it, I was obviously enjoying it. But I don't know. So I'm going to be vague on this one, and by the end of it, hopefully with our discussion, we'll work out really how I feel again. I don't know, I was watching it, and as I was watching, I was like 6 or 7 minutes in, and I realised I haven't really taken anything in. Which is weird. Like, other episodes I've been really like, this, I'm just sort of watching it more casually. I don't know, that's what I mean. I don't know how I feel exactly about it. Like, I enjoyed it. And the next time on is really, really cool, and the end is really cool. So that's
I haven't seen that yet.
really, really cool. So like the next bit is going to be even better. I don't know. So yeah, let's talk about it and go through it.
Absolutely. So it starts out with Lorca basically freeing his men from the agonizer booth, and he said it's been 1 year, 212 days of torture. So they've been in there quite a long time, and he frees Commander Landry. So Landry's back, which I never wanted.
Cool. And he said, today we reclaim our empire, because as I said to you last time, this episode will very much depend on how and what his plot is, what his objective is, and it is either unfortunately or fortunately, it is very much to take over. Black and white. I want to be the emperor, I want to be in control, and racial purity, they say later on. At least, yeah. So, a bit more 2D than I was hoping. What do you think about that? I guess it's kind of skipping a little bit more to the middle, but what did you think about that reveal?
It wasn't really revealed to me. I mean, it's what I kind of anticipated.
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, I mean, the goal is in the Mirror Universe is to get to get to that next level, that next promotion, and so if he was her right hand man for quite a while, he wants the empire, he wants the throne. So
just makes me feel like the Lorca character sort of ends on a weak note. He goes from being intriguing, reveal, and then down to 2D. I want to control the empire! Ha ha ha! You know what I mean? Like, there you go. Like, there should have been really cool complexities to it, and what did he learn from our universe? And is he, he should have said in the middle, and then we're going to take Discovery and go to the Prime Universe, or go to another universe and try and rule them. Like, really have some extra plot points to it, rather than just, I'm going to take over the empire.
There might have been something else. We just didn't get a chance to see it because it was pretty fast paced near the end. So maybe we're gonna find out more of his motivations later.
Maybe. Anyway, so he goes straight to Stamets' lab, and this was really interesting because I was wondering how they're going to tie this together. And they find him in his, I call it holographic safe room.
Yeah, holographic duck blind is what I put.
Nice, that's even better. I like that. And Stamets is like, I thought you were dead, and you get the whole spiel. And this is my almost favourite bit of the episode. We see a space shot, we see a flashback, and it's a good explanation. And it's like, oh, cool. It was it was Mirror again, but earlier. What do you think about that?
Yeah. Well, before we get to that, I mean, one of the first things that's really cool is "Long live the Empire" above the door. I noted that. It's like
I think
it's like the standard workplace "Have a good day" kind of thing. And then you get a little reveal that he and Lorca and Stamets had a coup. They were going to try to take over earlier. But yes, then we get the reveal of the ISS Buran. The Emperor had hunted them down and was firing at them. They entered an ion storm exactly like in Mirror Mirror. And there was a transporter malfunction.
Yeah, I thought this was really cool because it double links to how we were both talking last time, which a lot of this episode linked to, we thought this through and we made up what happened. But you said very much, it's a transporter accident thing, they swapped, the only way to do it. And yeah, the absolute inclination was, it was exactly what happened in Mirror Mirror. Mirror timelines, whatever, 2 ships and 2 iron storms, 2 transporters, whatever, okay. The specific thing, they said that he was on the planet trying to get new followers. The Mirror Emperor ship came into orbit, attacked them as they're beaming up to the planet. The Iron Storm changed, so that means that the Prime Lorca had to be the same incident. So the Prime Lorca was on the Mirror Buran and got destroyed with the ship. Like, there we go. I mean, he might have got out, but that's really unbelievable. But that was a very direct one-on-one. And obviously, one situation is ISS Lorca, beams aboard the USS Buran, like, quick, get our shields up, the ship's here. They're like, what? He's like, oh, are we fine? And then he learns, like, okay, we're going to keep a secret. And then the Prime Lorca goes to the ship and is like, so what should we do? What? And then gets blown up. So, oops, Lorca's dead. But it was a fine explanation, and it was nice that he happened to be the guy. It was nothing uber special. Just happened to fly through a thing that happened to a thing. He happened to be the guy that did it, Like Kirk happened to be the guy that did it in his timeline.
Yeah, it was kind of interesting that it was just an accident. He didn't plan on going there. He didn't find out about it through the Defiance records or anything like that. Which I'm not sure I'm really super happy with. That would have been better if it was kind of an overall arcing plan that he had to go there. But as he put it, physics was acting as the hand of destiny. And I love that. It was so awesome. So
yep.
Find himself in a bad circumstance and then finds out that there's a ship that can possibly get him back home.
And he knows Stamets, he knows Burnham, he knows all the players, apart from Saru, to get into it, which is great. I mean, that, again, it doubles down. That's why he knew everyone, and knew how to manipulate them, knew how to get them ready, because he worked with them. That was his team. I kind of like it was an accident, because as he puts it, like I said, fate. I mean, he's so solid and secure in knowing this is because it's meant to happen. And I like that full force he has in this episode. There's never a point where he's, apart from the end, where he's like, questioning anything, where he's not confident. And they mentioned a thing, and I said this in the preview episode, they said specifically earlier, there are 10 battalions of troops on the ship. That's quite a lot, because obviously you can't take over a flagship with 35 men that have been tortured for 2 years. It doesn't. But then, Lorca says to Stamets, how's the bioweapon coming? Show me the bioweapon. He's like, he swaps back to being on his side. Happily, sir. And then he kills everyone from decks 117. Or most people, and it's like, okay, cool. We've that's what we thought was going to happen. Progress, nice. Yep. Now there's a sense of danger because they did not have that at the start. So I like that.
And Burnham makes her little escape from the Empress because the Empress wanted her put down in the brig. Takes out a grate and slides through it, trying to get away. So kind of a interesting little twist there. They were kind of working side by side for a minute, but. Whatever. Yeah,
there's a lot of, wow, I'm facing many armed people with weapons designed to kill, and why can no one hit me when I'm static or very simple? I mean, there's literally an army next to her, and they're shooting at her, and no one even gets close. And there's worse situations later on where it's ridiculous to the point of pathetic, and it's just, and where the hell did she get a bzz, like, she suddenly bzzed somebody? What was that? Where did that come from? What was that technology? You can understand they'd have separate devices just in case, but that was very I have special bonus things.
Personal agonizer.
Okay, that would have been cool to see. But it was a very weird and easy escape that didn't.
Yeah, you got to think these are the Emperor's personal guards. Yep. These are her number one guys.
Yep.
And they suck. But anyway. We get a captain's log by Saru, and that's very. I was very happy to hear that. The captain's log got a stardate, acting Captain Saru, and a nice shot of the ship in with warp, even though their warp's kind of not a fan of it. But
yeah, that made me smile. The captain's log.
Yeah. And we get an explanation that the spore drive is now operational again. But he was unable to save the mycelium spores, even though they looked rather healthy when he was walking through. At least they're coming back, because there were spores floating around. There was a nice blue glow.
Yeah, they're very... I feel like, in clarification, they're inconsistent with all of their dialogue with the spores in this episode.
Yes.
They do and don't have them, do and don't see them, do and don't use them. They keep implying there's none left, and they have them.
Yes.
Very strange. They didn't write the dialogue properly with that. You know, like unable to save them. That implies all dead. And they
look pretty good.
They use them later.
Well, they had some left over, I guess, in the tubes, ready to go. Yeah, here too we find that we get an explanation for the Empress's ship, the Charon.
Yeah, this is interesting.
Which that sun is basically how Stamets from the Mirror Universe was manipulating the mycelium network. They're using that to pull spores from the network, and to power their ship and create large amounts of power, larger than even the Stamets thought that they could do. The problem is that it's damaging the network, and the reason the other Stamets got lost in the network was because he went in trying to find a way to kind of have it replenish itself. He was trying to find a way to fix it, and he got lost in the network. So it's kind of in the one hand, you get to find out what is up with the ship and how it's powered, and some other time you find out what happened to Stamets, but it was such a quick explanation. It's like they just iced over it, and it's, hey, there you go. And they did that a lot in this episode, which I kind of appreciate the briskness that they do these things so that you don't have to wade through it, but
yeah,
it seems a little forced and rushed at times.
I thought the scene pacing was still strong on those scenes, even if the dialogue, like say, was brisk. But I never thought, okay, it's a bit quick. Obviously, we want to know more, but at least they did explain it. And I called out last episode that obviously played a part. Form follows function. That it's there for a reason. It was there for a reason, and it's not a sun. It's like I say, it's a, they were implying that they were stopping the network and they were able to draw power from it, and it was poisoning, like backing up a pipe. They were to just pull the energy from it instead of using it. It was a little bit convoluted, but it was fine. And hey, that's a good idea. Although again, now they're implying the ship goes with pretty much very little anything. It's a very pitiful ship with what we see. But if they can harness a power source, which obviously, if Stamets knows this is more than he thought possible, and a spore drive can take you across universes, any part in your universe, that's a pretty huge power source. This is obviously something that is so far beyond what he knows as, it might even be a sun level of power, just in a very different makeup. And they said, powerful enough weapons to destroy a planet.
Yeah, the ship had more of a colony vibe ship from like TNG than it did a warship or a Imperial ship, for sure.
Yeah.
And it was interesting. I had written down weapons that can destroy a planet, like very much like the Empire, Star Wars. But anyway, yeah. So.
And it is worth noting that they specifically get all this data from still 30 minutes away at warp. Wow, long-range sensors are so damn good in the Discovery verse.
I got such a problem with the warp thing, which we're going to get into when it comes up. But
good, I want to hear that.
Here is the face-off between the Captain Lorca, or whatever his rank is in this universe, Lorca, and the
Criminal
Emperor.
Lorca.
Yeah, and this was really well played out. Like, how did you escape? Your battalion got killed because Lorca wanted me, and you could just tell something was up because of the way she was acting. Gone. I loved it. And then also all the lights coming on. The
Predator-esque. Love it. Yep.
I would just open fire. Speaking of Predator-esque, I actually wrote this down. Ooh. I love the Predator shoulder cannons that pop out of the wall. They're exactly the same as the Predator shoulder cannon, pretty much.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Yeah, this scene confused me. I love the force field. Well, containment field. That was great. It makes total sense. But no one had a good plan here.
No.
And I don't understand the hallway. I don't understand where they are. She said, I'm going to meet him. And yet they ambush her. and yet this corridor is the most important corridor. There's both the force field and turrets. So did she trap him? Should she bring him there because it's a special corridor? Is this a corridor right outside the throne room? Therefore, it's got special guns.
That's what I assumed. I assumed she was leaving the throne room, and he was on his way there.
And yet, the first thing she does is she walks out by herself in the middle of the room, holds up a gun, doesn't do anything. Her people flank her, and it's like no one in the universe understands how to fight because everyone stands simply and just shoots without any sort of ducking. I mean, except Lorca and except the characters that survive, they move. No one else has any sort of tactical understanding. It's awful. Everyone is just a shooting a firing squad, and therefore everyone gets killed. It's pathetic. And so this scene I just saw as, okay, yeah, they're shooting each other because no one's moving. Everyone's staying still. Okay, they're all dead.
It felt very Star Wars to me. Even the effects, even the sound effects of the guns at that point were very, very Star Wars-esque. Moving on, the next scene is probably like a Jeffries tube, I would assume, in the ship, and Burnham is trying to get in touch with Discovery, and there was some great use of TOS sound effects here, and later in the show as well. But as usual, they've put in the Star Trek sound effects perfectly in this show. Even since the beginning, there's always been those little subtle audio clues that just make it TOS. And it's like, yes, you're doing that right.
Yeah, it'd just be nice if everything else had a more consistent feel.
Yeah, I know.
But it's like token things to the fans, isn't it? It's like, it's not what you wanted, but here's little bits, because yay. She managed to get through to Saru. They have this conversation. We see some tremendous view screen conversations in this episode that actually showed how good view screen talks are, because you get to really focus on the actor, get to really frame it so it look good. You get to see the backgrounds in focus, and just all the view screens were actually better than the holograms. I felt they had more punch to them.
Yeah, and there's a view screen scene later where Lorca looks over his shoulder and Burnham's back here talking, and she's still out of focus. Like, it's not like a magical redo of on her face that we've kind of had in all of Star Trek. So it was very realistic, but that's later down the road.
It just showed how much better. It actually works surprisingly better than being like, I'm going to walk around and talk to you. It's like, no, just do the view screen. It worked really well.
Yeah. And I love this where she talks about Lorca being from the Terran Empire, and Saru's like, that's not possible. I didn't sense it. We didn't sense it. I didn't sense it. Which I thought was kind of interesting. I made a note of that because he does sense danger, and he was serving under this guy. But then we get a great explanation from Stamets about, and this again, very rushed, very to the point, very hitting a plot point very quick and just laying it down. Explanation for how Lorca influenced the last jump. Oh, which he can do from his chair. Gotcha. So, and then of course we find out the network will kill everything if it doesn't get fixed. This is also the conversation we get where we find out that the orb that the Empress's ship is powered by needs to be destroyed in order to start fixing the mycelium network, because it's drawing such power from it. We have to destroy that orb. We have to get the containment field down. Blah blah blah. And
they call it a super mycelium reactor, which is a tremendously cool name.
Yes,
I just thought that. So the next scene then is Stamets. Things are said, and it's like, yeah, Stamets, we've had enough of you. Scene where they decide Stamets is not worth keeping alive. I did like Lorca's, I just don't think I can trust you. Everything that's happened, I just don't. It's not worth the risk. He was still on point as a doing, except the corridor scene. He was still doing good decisions, but I thought to kill the one guy that knows the Spawn network, that's really short-sighted.
Yep.
I mean, if you're going to keep this ship, if you're going to keep this technology, and if it's a bioweapon that you might not be able to recreate, I guess you have his research, but still, I mean, you don't kill that guy, even if you think you're going to steal the other Stamets.
Throw him in the brig. Throw him in a agonizer booth for a while.
Yeah, it was a bit.
Yeah. And again, here we get a great speech from Lorca saying he's living proof that fate is real. And then he's going to kill Stamets. He's like, be so poetic. You're dying by joining the mycelium network. Your life's work. I'm not poetic. And all of a sudden, that was really well done.
Yeah, those they're good. little moments when they take away from the main plot. They're actually good at writing little character moments. That was fun. I mean, not fun, but fun.
And then we get the whole thing about the Federation, a social experiment doomed to failure, when he's talking to Burnham in the next scene. I really love that line because he's been there, he's experienced what the Federation is. Usually that might change somebody's opinion of it, but no, he's convinced that it's not every race is equal, every race needs to know their place. He makes that statement as well. It's just an interesting, it's definitely the Terran view, but I just thought it was a great speech on his part. Then we get which was interesting, the badge, Michael Burnham's badge, and they got the serial numbers on the back of these ones in this universe as well. Which I thought was kind of odd for the mirror universe. It's like, why would you even bother doing that with people that you don't really care about and you're going to kill? And here in engineering, this is where we get this has to be destroyed. We have to take the containment field down. We don't have anything on board powerful enough to destroy this. Our photons won't do it. What are we going to use? Oh, the spores. How many of our spores? And I said, all of them. And he says, all of them. How convenient. Because there's like 4 or 5 red canisters on the wall. So they didn't have a full supply, but they had quite a bit. So yeah, they're not going to survive the resulting explosion. Their shields aren't strong enough. And then there's this great speech from Saru. And then we get later again, there's more explanation as to how they're going to survive this. But this is generally the discussion where it's like, this is what we got to do. And then Saru gives this speech that the Discovery is not Lorca's anymore, it's ours, and it's time to take it on its maiden voyage. You know, kind of missed the point of maiden voyage, but maiden voyage under his command, maybe.
It's what he meant, yeah. As a new shiny Discovery, yeah. No, I like this scene. It did seem it's very easy as a plot thing. Like, oh, our torpedoes can destroy it. Torpedoes that we can augment with spores to make them spore torpedoes, which are now then powerful enough. It wasn't because. Now remember, it wasn't because the spores interacted with the spores. It's because spores have enough energy output to cause a chain reaction, which means that if you put spores in a torpedo, it makes a more powerful torpedo. That's exactly what they said. So why was Lorca not doing spore torpedoes at any point? They just invented a whole new type of weapon, and if you can just grow spores, I mean, maybe that's what quantum torpedoes are, or tricobalt. I mean, they're not, but maybe they could be. I just felt like that was a bit of a... Do it be that, maybe simply be our spores reacting with their spores, parallel universes can't combine, it explodes. Maybe that's better than just, spore warheads are so strong they can blow up a thing. But at least, it was a bit dumb to think that just torpedoes can blow up a thing, but obviously, yes, okay, get out a shield that can stop it. But by golly, shouldn't the ship have shields to stop you flying into the ship's middle? And weapons to stop you from getting close enough to get close to the shields, to get close to the middle, to fire torpedoes? And shouldn't you have point defense systems if it's that easy to destroy? Again, really crappy flagship.
True.
True. Yeah. Anyway, but I loved his speech. I don't sense coming of death, but again, your power's rubbish. Doesn't really work properly, so meh. But it was good for him, and I like, having now started reading the book, the prequel book. He's been passed over for command. He's been snubbed a bit. He's now in charge, and he really felt it. This character reinvigorated for me. I felt. So I liked that.
Yeah, and another great thing I loved about this scene is the fact that other crew members, like the lower downs, got little speaking roles and little. You kind of got a feel for a crew here finally.
Yes. Yep.
And they've always been seen in the background. We even get the one girl, the Spore Drive girl, Aria or whatever, have her name written down later. We get her, actually having some lines and contributing to the. So I like that these secondary characters are getting a little bit more face time. It was great. It was just
we like an ensemble cast. This is not an ensemble. It is, but it isn't. It's weird. No, this was a good scene, and you reminded me exactly why, because Tilly says, we can't survive that. And I was like, I mean, you will, but she doesn't sugarcoat it, and no one says, yes, we can, exactly. Like he's like, I can do it, but before Sari gives a speech, they're still, the first person to speak after she says we'll die is somebody saying we'll do it anyway. That's being Starfleet. That's saving the day. People were, once they learned, they were still committed. No one said, well, screw that. No. Okay. Next step.
Next scene is he's playing with the sword again. He likes that sword. And this is where the Empress and Michael come in, and Michael's like, here's what you wanted. Here's the Emperor. And
they let her walk in with a phaser, pointed at her. She's like, oh, it's fine. Yeah. Like, no, I'm pretty sure someone would say, no, give us the phaser initially. Yeah, weird acting by the Empress, I felt. It's like, it's a little bit too easy, a little bit too contrived, because we need to be quick, next plot, let's go on, let's not really... What would happen in this moment, not this?
There's a decided lack of regalness to her character here. Like, I don't think she would have caved in so easily.
I mean, just Lorca saying, I will not bow, is what he needed to say at the top moment. And she just says, I will kill you. But that's after the entire conversation. She doesn't inject, she doesn't have power, she doesn't,
Next scene, we see the Discovery still at warp. And they were told to stay at warp so that nobody could beam on board the ship, whatever. Which I'll get to in a minute. But we get more explanation. They're trying to find a way home because they won't have any spores left for a jump back to their universe after they use all the spores. That was established earlier.
So we think it's fair to say that the all of the rooms with spores are dead because this infection spread, but the ones that were isolated in their containers are alive. So you have 7 containers worth of spores. That's how much you have. You cannot make more. You cannot get more.
Yeah.
Just to make clear.
Yeah, so... They're going to use the mycelium shockwave to kind of jumpstart the spore drive. Mm-hmm. And they're going to also, at the same time, because the shields aren't strong enough, they're going to use the spore drive in conjunction with the warp drive and the shielding system to create a secondary layer of protection. Which I love that was technobabble, but not technobabble. It was a simple explanation for what they're going to do instead of using TNG technobabble. And then we get the whole Kirk line that Stamets does, I don't believe in no one scenarios, which I thought was kind of nice.
Yeah, and it was interesting that, we'll blow the ship up, okay, we'll use the network to the spores will be flying everywhere. If we can stay on the edge where the energy isn't as strong, the spores will just be in our ship, which means we can channel the power and connect. And I want to do a separate video later on, Stuart, saying that I called it because one of our fans pointed out that at the 6-minute mark in our ISS Sharon episode, I literally said, this is going to happen. I exactly guessed this plot about form follows function, and they'd use it to blow up, and use it to blow up to power the spore drive. I called it, guys! I literally called what happened. I'm fine with that.
And it goes back to what John Hughes has been saying online, that this ship was designed for a purpose. And
the purpose might have changed, but the purpose still stayed there at its core. And like it's not a sun.
Then all of a sudden they get a communication from Burnham. It's got her codes attached to it, so they're asked to drop out of warp. They drop out of warp instantly, and they're right there. So my question is, have they been flying in warp circles for however long, so that they're right near the ship when they need to drop out of warp? Because there was no time delay. It's just like, we got a signal. All right, drop out of warp. Boom.
Yeah, there's the ship. Warp is actually a motorway. It goes somewhere, so you'd have to then turn around.
Or just do one huge circle around the ship. Which
why
is that ship doing that?
Well, that's the thing. The Discovery detected them, the Sharon, minutes light years away, full detail. Obviously, the best ship in the Imperial fleet detected them. I mean, again, another little silly thing, like Lorca should look at the ship's sensors and say, "Oh, why is the Discovery trying to warp around us? Huh? Our long-range sensors detect the Discovery flying around us. It's flying around us 4 times now. Is this a plan? And should we bring more ships? I mean, it just it's very condensed. Doesn't use the. It's too focused on characters. It didn't let us. When you give every character a scene and every moment is a character moment, you lose the story. You lose more of those details. You lose more of the tech. You lose more of the ships. You lose more of the. I don't know. That stuff was lacking in this episode a little bit. But yeah, another great view screenshot. Great view screen scene. Shows how good view screens are. Yay! Yeah. Although again, why didn't they use the holograms if they had hologram technology? Because that depth of field thing.
Yeah, but this interaction with Lorca and Saru is really nice. The fact that he's even like, I made you guys into warriors. If I thought any of you were capable of surviving in this universe, I'd ask you to join me.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
and there was a nice kind of respect there for Saru, at least a little bit, which I liked. And Saru would have been, if it was me, I'd be a little bit. I don't know how I'd feel about facing my captain after knowing that he lied to me for so long. But so I think Saru did a fantastic job. So
yeah, he didn't just say, "I don't care about you." No, he grew to care, but he's also the sort of man that uses his assets while he has them, then discards them, then gets more assets. He can still respect all the assets, but new assets. Yeah, and then there's this great moment where, Burnham, I'm here, I'm exactly where I need to be. Nod. Saru. Nod. Everyone else. Nod. And Lorca's like, huh?
Yeah. But no, that's the scene I was referring to earlier, where Saru's like, I'd rather hear that from Burnham, that she wants to stay, from her personally. And that's where Lorca does, on the view screen, he does this and looks back. He goes out of focus. She's back there. She stays out of focus a little bit. And she says, Saru, I'm exactly where I need to be. I loved that view screen interaction, because usually in any other Star Trek, it would be like, on her face, I'm right where I need to be. Or she would step up or something.
Yeah, she would.
I just thought it was really well played, and I really liked that realism to that scene. So.
And I didn't catch it first time round, but she means, exactly where I should be, not at the front of the bridge. Didn't catch it first time, why would I? But it actually did make sense, sort of. And then then the thing happens, and this is a really weird moment. Discovery opens fire on a non-shielded ship. They fire a phaser beam that goes exactly through the hull into the most important part of the ship. And then a force field activates. Why didn't the ship have shields activated? And why isn't it got double shields for the Emperor's throne room? And why is a single phaser spread from a ship that's so less advanced than this ship able to go through it? And why is a ship that has shields being powered by mycelium supercore able to be defeated by a single phaser volley?
Crazy likey coincidence, as I wrote down. This whole next maybe like 5-7 minutes is all just nope. The odds of all this happening this way is just bullshit.
Well, mention all the things. Fast order, and then we'll go back and talk. So give us the order of events of what you think doesn't make sense, because I want to hear.
Well, first of all, yes, the fact the ship was unshielded. I mean, really, you're the Emperor, and you got this massive ship, and you know that these guys are going to try to rescue Burnham.
Well, no, you just called them. You just called them. So Lorca would have shields up, because he just called them. Yep, next.
Yeah. Then this whole fight scene, the fact that nobody got killed, they were, the Emperor and Giorgio take out the guy behind him with the gun, and do some flippy flues, and there's people firing at them, and they roll behind some. It's like no. Like, again, these are like Lorca's top guys. They're gonna be able to shoot a gun and hit you. Just the coincidences here just scream. Action movie, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. Some of the stuff that happens is just like the fight scene where she throws the knife into his back, and he pulls it out and throws it back, and she kicks it. It's like, okay, really? You're an emperor. You're not going to be training every day. You're probably going to be softer than, because you've had the good life your whole life.
Yeah. And you have 0.1 seconds in your brain to think, right, the knife's here. I mean, most people don't even see, like, okay, if the guy turns on and throws, you're not even going to know that the knife's been thrown necessarily. And, like, she had to know, react, hit it imperfect. And similar thing, carry on.
And it is funny, if you watch this, like when I watched it the second time around, I was watching this fight, and I'm looking in the background action where Burnham's fighting somebody, and it's like, she didn't hit her. Like it's one of those clear like movie punches that just misses. It's very, and then later, like almost the next scene, they're still fighting in the background, but it's very slow and subdued. It's like, people aren't paying attention to us. We're in the background, so you need to go rewatch that scene if you haven't, and just pay attention to the background stuff. It's funny.
It's a weird fight. It's meant to look really great, and I think it sort of does it very surface level. But it wasn't done by a very great choreographer. Like, you see a lot of really good fights, you think, oh, that was a really good fight, you know? This was not one of those fights. It was fun, but in this sort of context, I mean, especially since Burnham just picks up a gun in 12 seconds. I mean, anyone should be going for a gun. Everyone's got a knife. Everyone's trained with a knife, because they've got knives. I mean, the Mirror Universe people have an advantage over them. You know, like, I was really expecting Lorca to beat Burnham, because he knows, I mean, this is not a... You know, one is the Interplanetary Defense Force Starfleet. One is the military killing everyone Death Fleet, and you're a captain who's killed to become your captain. He should have won that fight. Then something else. So
wow,
heroes shouldn't win when the other people are so much better.
She was trained in the Vulcan martial arts, as we've been established. So she's. I know. I'm just saying.
Yeah, but they win. Lovely little moment where she says, she gets a gun, points at him, the fight ends. You know, it would have helped you to get home if you'd asked. And his face is like, oh, yeah, could have done that, huh? That's really great.
That's a good summary, yeah.
And then,
so I'm not gonna kill you because it's not what I do.
Also,
but I will. I saw this coming a mile away. And I love it.
Very movie, isn't it?
Yeah. I almost expected him to turn around and like stab her and they both kind of die thing. But yeah, when he got stabbed, I'm like, as I've said all along, I like Lorca. I like his character. I don't want him to die.
That armor doesn't protect him a damn percentage.
Oh,
armor is not effective. It's bullets, or I guess laser blasts, or whatever. It's just ceremonial armor. Guys, invent useful armor. I know the sword's probably got super coating, stab through stuff. I know the guns are probably set to high setting, but it's like, no, armor's only good if it's actually useful. Yeah. And then she kicks him into the mycelium thing, and he dies. But if it's a superconductive channel of mycelium, and he's being part of it, then why can't they bring him back? Because he's dispersed and reformed in 10 years and
then the Empress wants to stay. You know, her weakness has been exposed. She's not going to have any more respect. She wants to stay and die fighting. And, yeah, so she's taking out Lorca's men. And why do people...
Hold on. Burnham turns off the force field first.
Yes.
That's really important.
Yes, she does. She turns off the containment field.
And before we jump to the people dying, because that's the thing. But I kind of felt surprised this Emperor would give up so easily, that she's still in the throne of her command ship. Okay, lots of her men are dead, but she's got the entire Empire around her. She took out
the guy that was trying to take control.
Yeah, she's got secret exits, she's got beaming technology, on the emergency mission can override what Stamets did. I mean, to suddenly say, oh, I guess I'm lost. I mean, and I was really surprised that she would actively allow Burnham, because the plan is to destroy her ship. She's saying, interlope from another universe, I'll let you kill my flagship and all my technology. Just go ahead. I feel like at least she didn't go super evil here, but you'd think she'd actually have a plan and not want to destroy her flagship. I know all of her men, I know all of Lorca's men are on it, which actually makes a lot of sense. If they blow up the ship, that is him gone. That is his entire presence universe gone at that point, basically. But if she was then to survive, she could still be the Emperor. I mean, it doesn't matter. She said specifically, what did she say? I'm defeated. I'm a defeated Emperor. They've seen my neck. I have no future now. Guess what? No one on the ship knows this happened. If you kill the ship and never on it, you're fine. So why are you giving up? Not what an Empress would do. Hoshi wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just very, yeah.
I see what you mean, but at the
she
same
didn't
time,
get Emperor by giving up.
Yeah, I know. It was just, I thought it was kind of poetic and very honorable thing to do, and she's kind of learned that there's, I think the whole Burnham thing kind of, I think it changed her a little bit in that brief second, since you thought she was going to die. So whatever.
Yeah, but if you're changed for the better, use that change to make the Empire better.
Well, she wouldn't, though. I don't know.
Well, then she hasn't changed. I mean, if she has changed, she'll make better things. And again, all of the ruling class have now been killed, so who's taking over the Empire now? She's also not thinking about what she's built. Who the hell knows who's going to take over and whatever. It's just weird to give up that easily. Especially since, again, it's your throne room. You have... I mean, and interestingly enough, I was expecting at an earlier point, when she gets thrown in her little control semicircle, there'll be a force field there, and that Lurk will try and get in, it would not be whatever. That's the most obvious thing. She's got 2 spinning killing discs.
I thought the same thing.
So she should reverse back into that device, turn the shields on, because we know she has fields on the ship. Like in Guardians of the Galaxy, whistle, all they activate, and she kills all the guards in the other room, and then she's like, okay, Burnham, I've just won this battle, cool, moving on. Again, it was plot convenience, but they could have been smarter about it, and she definitely had ways out of the situation, so you don't get Empress by being that willing to give up. But yes, there's a fight, Stuart, and what were you going to say about that?
People need to stop jumping on other people while they're beaming. That's dangerous. Especially in Star Trek 4, where she doesn't even understand how the technology works. Yeah. And she jumps on Kirk. Stop it. You're going to come out as a big blob on the other end. Stop it. Just stop doing that. That's an awful transporter trope. I mean, I understand it in Next Generation or Voyager when the transporters have been more advanced, but that's not how TOS transporters worked, guys. You couldn't even move. You couldn't even move when you were being beamed. You need to be held in place by a stasis field before you could beam.
And she ran over to her, grabbed her mid-beam, and beamed pretty quick as well,
And earlier in this Klingon ship, she jumped and got beamed midair. No,
but the JJ films, they have beaming whoever you want.
And stop it, because there was a progression to the transporter technology that they're messing with, and it's annoying.
Stuart,
but anyway,
they don't conform to technological artistic canon.
They don't care.
We know that.
All right.
But it was pretty amazing though that the transporter device managed to then isolate them both. That was impressive as hell. I was like, oh, okay.
I assume I would hope that it also just deactivated her weapon in transport as well, because you got this evil empress beaming on board. Pointing a rifle at your transporter chiefs. That could have gone really bad, just so you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was probably deactivated.
If she would want to take over the ship, I mean, come on, she's an emperor of an empire. I mean, this is your way out. Whatever. Well, just to jump back then to that fight scene, I watched this scene with great interest because it's ridiculous. The empress picks up a rifle, walks a little bit, stands still, fires. People clamber out the door, shoot at her. Not a single one even gets close, yet she kills most of them. And there's a shot right before she beams with 4 people at this wall. 2 of them are already standing completely still, and 2 move up to a firing line. So they're not moving. She is not moving. They're pointing. It's a very short distance that normal pistol could do. Modern day pistol could hit her very efficiently. They're shooting point blank basically, and she beams. And as she beams, a shot hits the pillar 10 meters that way. So the target's there, yet the bullet went there. No one's moving. How are they shooting so ineffectively? Moving stationary targets are easy to shoot, especially with futuristic energy weapons. Please plan your choreography better that doesn't allow our characters to stand still and not get shot. Because it's ridiculous and it plays poorly and it makes everyone look stupid because, again, like you said, trained militia.
Next scene. This is very cool. This is what I've been waiting for. It's really cool space scenes, especially the GoPro attached to the hull scene. That was awesome. Very, very Rogue One-esque of them.
Yep.
I thought that was fantastic. And this part had me on the edge of my seat. And just seeing Discovery on screen flying through space for more than half a second. But why were there no shields around this ship? I mean, is it one of those shields that only is against the hull bullshit, or is it supposed to be a spherical shield? Anyway.
Well, that scene you could argue Burnham turned the shields off as well. Maybe she couldn't turn off the shield. I mean, that one's more okay. But yeah, it's a little bit silly overall. And then they shoot torpedoes, and they go through the mycelium, not sun, which I thought was interesting.
And I gotta say, torpedo sound effects spot on. Good job. Yeah, did they go through it? On second viewing, it looks like they went right past it. It doesn't look like they went through it, actually.
I frame by frame it looked like they went through.
Yeah, I thought they did too, but I'm trying to think maybe they didn't because that's just dumb. But
I mean, yeah. I mean, yeah, I don't know. I mean, what's his name? Lorca was dying, not even close to it yet. You know, still miles away. So he's obviously got a lot of energy, but I mean, they've got shields. But yeah, torpedoes, explosion, fireball, I see them explosion. And then the Discovery goes to warp. We see it in mid-warp. And I guess a mycelium-based energy shockwave traverses subspace. Because that's what warp is. It's going into a pocket of subspace. I just thought it was funny. It's like it's in subspace with them. It's like that's a bubble of space. It's a little bit different. That's why sporing inside of subspace is different. That's a pretty.
Anyway, plot convenience. It works. Yeah. One thing that I noticed the first time.
Yeah.
Just subconsciously, and second time I really noticed it, is when you see the shots from engineering. If you pay attention, the sparks are falling upwards.
Yes. Yep.
Like. There's that
a couple of them
going on.
A couple of them, yeah. That was a really nice touch.
And I thought I was seeing things the first time because I was just so like, what's going to happen? Where are they going to go? Am I right? Are they going to time travel? I didn't really pay attention to that, but second time I watched it, I saw that.
Yeah, there's 3 shots of sparks going up, and there is a slight reverse sound effect. It's very under the music, but it's like, ooh, that's a little bit ahead. Stuart's right, because we missed a thing earlier. They specifically said when we get back, how we get back. If we the right path, we should be at the right path. Should get to the right point on our timeline, or at least close. First mention of temporal when it comes to spore technology, never before even remotely referenced. And suddenly, oh yeah, we'll spore, and we'll get close to our own time. It's like, excuse me, time travel now? You called it. You said it.
So I've been hoping for it for a while, so yeah.
And so I was like, oh, they just wrote themselves into a new technological advancement, but that's fine. We wanted it.
It opens up a lot of storytelling,
It does. And it's not what we thought. What you thought.
Well.
We'll get to it. Right?
Yeah. So as they're going through the network, this is very Andromeda-esque.
Oh, yeah.
But you hear Stamets saying the network is regenerating itself. Mm-hmm. I'm not quite sure where to go. And then you see Hugh, and Hugh says, follow the music.
Yeah.
And then he kind of comes at peace, and he's like, thanks, Hugh. And
I got sad when he said thanks, Hugh.
Yeah. And then they ended up in the right place at the wrong time. And then one thing really interesting was the little green spore fell down and landed on Tilly's shoulder. I have a theory about that, but we're going to talk about that a little bit later.
A whole video about one green spot on a shoulder. We're going to do it! No, yeah. Well, I will say, this was a little bit of an odd scene. It was cool, but it's weird that it was an instant travel between Prime to Mirror the first time, and yet a huge rigmarole to get back the second time. Despite it relatively be... I know it's meant to be an explosion, but that shouldn't actually... If the technology works the way it should, that shouldn't affect anything, you know? So...
Well, they were at Warp 2. Well... They did spore jump at warp to go face the sarcophagus ship too. I was gonna say maybe the warp element. I don't know.
It's a very classical, like we said between the 2 half seasons. They changed the asteroid. They changed the wreckage field to not spoil it, and then change it completely to then show the stuff they should show. So they keep not doing things. I mean, they would obviously be giveaways. That's fine. But then if you suddenly change it completely, it's like okay, fine. I mean, you can create a reason. I just felt there's a really long spore, even the spore is instant, and even parallel universes are instant, and yet this is a whole thing. Maybe the time travel aspect really screwed them over. I don't know. Right place, wrong time, and how wrong time are they? Are they back a year and a half like we hoped?
Well, they overshot by 9 months. Now the thing is, they didn't say whether they overshot into the future or into the past.
Well,
because they were already in the present in the other mirror universe, so they could have overshot into the future, but I'm assuming they have shot into the past. Why they were aiming for the past, I don't know. Yeah, because you can't overshoot something unless you're aiming for it.
No, you'd say we missed it, or no, overshoot. They're in the future. Well, no, they're in their present, but it's the future when they left.
So Saru has to see the war map because he needs to see an update, and he wants to let the Federation know that we're back. We're all good. No Federation response. No automated beacons. And we find out that the map, as it changes, the Klingons have won the war. My thinking is, There was no Lorca out there kicking ass with the Discovery and kind of keeping the Klingons at bay during this time. So that's what happened.
Cool. Yeah.
Or Takuvum is not dead and gave cloaking devices to the Klingons and united them, and they're a united force now. I don't know.
Well, I'm trying to do an episode on this because this is really, really interesting. But think about where we left off. No cloak detection grid, so everyone's still capable. And mirror discoveries in our timeline. They can't get back. So combine a total... I hope they don't forget about mirror discovery, because they're in our timeline. They mentioned that. So they can't forget that.
They've mentioned a lot of things and never gone back to explain it, so not holding my breath for that, not crossing my fingers.
Well,
it's not going to happen.
Yeah, my assumption is that would be their way of keeping that story a little bit alive. But yeah, so they've got that. There's two. If you're against two forces, the Mirror Discovery and the Klingons, who can wipe you out, then yes, in 9 months, the Federation and no spore drive technology, they were already doomed without spore technology because they were already losing. So. What we hear in the next time on, it's like the war's very not going well, and yeah, I want to see, is that all just Klingons? Is that Mirror as well? That got me so excited about the next one, because I didn't know where they were going to go after this, but being in the future is interesting because they can't leave the future the way the Klingons don't win the war, so now they have got to go back in time.
Gotta go back in time.
They've got to, because otherwise this becomes the present and the Klingons don't win the war. That's okay. Yes, it was. I guess never explicitly said the Klingons won a war of this timeline of this time, but the amount of damage they said in the next time on, it's like that's sort of damage that you would probably be aware of, in TOS in 10 years. So it's like, yeah. My guessing is that that's a prediction, but they're gonna have to go because now time travel's been opened up, hasn't it? All they have to get is more spores, time travel back, then he's got an excuse to save Hugh and whatever. So, interesting. Interesting. And
yes.
Yeah, there is the end. So, final thoughts, Stuart?
Final thoughts. I thought it was a great episode. I really enjoyed the fast-paced action of it, although some of it was a little bit, as I said, very coincidentally, unrealistic. I guess. Yeah. But the fast pace was really cool. Mm-hmm. I really appreciated the space scenes. Yeah. Seeing the Discovery do its thing was really awesome.
Yep.
And overall, I mean, a lot of the characters didn't really get much of a part, like not a lot of Tilly or anything like that. Mm-hmm. But I did like the kind of ensemble cast piece in the engineering room where we hear from the lesser characters. That was awesome. So I'm going to give this one probably an 8.5. Mm-hmm. And yes, really looking forward to where they go from here. They open up so many possibilities, and like I said at the end, I was really on the edge of my seat, literally going, "Oh, they're gonna fix things." And I'm looking at Sylvia, and I'm like, "Yes!" And Christian's laughing at me because I'm, like a little kid again watching TV. So I'm glad that Star Trek's got me excited. I'm glad it has me looking forward to the next episode, and they're really doing a fantastic job. So I loved it.
Yeah. Well, as we've said, good. If you go with good plots and good writing and good action, you get a better reaction because you make quality content.
I got to jump in here and say this has the Enterprise effect that it could. I was so stoked about Enterprise, and then it came on and they screwed with the timeline. I'm like, ugh. And then they're like, oh, Temple Cold War. They can fix this with the Temple Cold War story. They didn't have that. They didn't do that. This has the potential to bring them back to the actual Prime universe where things look right. It has the potential to do a lot of that stuff. They could even go back and fix all the time problems with Enterprise, and I'd be super happy. Are they going to do it? Probably not. But the potential is there. So it's like the Enterprise ride for me. I'm really excited. I'm really hoping that they use what they have available to fix things.
Well, yeah, they've basically designed and built a ship that can go to any universe and any time with the correct coordinates and information.
Which we never hear about in any other Star Trek, so something happens.
Yeah. So quite an advanced piece of tech now, and any part in our universe as well. The ultimate ship. Yeah, this has either got it very wrong, or it's the ultimate multiverse show, like Sliders. I'd be fine with that. The crew is not great, but it'll improve. And they got a lot of potential. Did you like the fact that Lorca storylines was concluded? We got, I guess, 3 Mirror Universe episodes. 3 full Mirror Universe episodes.
Yeah.
Lorca's now concluded. Did you like how that ended?
I did. It was very, very, very contained and
Yep.
satisfying. But at the same time, I do like Lorca's character. I want to see him come back in some capacity. I would like to see the Prime Lorca show up and be like, oh, we forgot all about you. You did survive. Something like that would be cool, and I think that they have the potential to do that as well. Or with the Mycelium Network, the way he died, he could be everywhere. He could be the first Q. Oh, she mentioned Lorca's the first Q. That's kind of cool.
And not just Lorca, Mirror Lorca.
Yeah.
Oh no, Ultimate Trickster. Yeah, for me, I like it more having discussed it with you. I think. I still think the problem is when you shouldn't just look at everything surface level, because every scene should stand on its own, and every little. I mean, you know, mistakes are still mistakes, and problems are still problems. You know, and something can be better than some of its parts, something can be worse than some of its parts. Some scenes can really stand out as being really bad. I think this was a strong episode as a whole, but lazy, really lazy in a few distinct places, and the way they use the Empress ship, the sets were like, right, we built 3 sets. They're sort of boring.
Yeah.
They don't give us an indication of the space or the Empire or the rooms. They're just big, gold, and fancy, but boring. We're going to use those 3 sets again and again. Wasn't fun, wasn't interesting, wasn't techno, wasn't linked to TOS. Missed opportunity there. Budgetary thing, but again, the most expensive show of all Treks ever. Doesn't, you know, I'm also a production man. I see things, and it's just like, oh, it's not, okay. But I liked the end of the Lorca storyline. I thought that was good. Like I say, it went a bit 2D, but it's nice. I feel like it was a real conclusion to that plot, which they could have screwed up, and they didn't. And like I say, the last 7 or 8 minutes was great. Really, really enjoyed it. Love the ending, absolutely. We forgot to mention. Well, we didn't, but you know, the Emperor is on the Discovery in our universe. You know,
She's not happy about that either. What did you do to me, Michael?
but also she maybe lost everything, so they saved her life, and that's a really, really interesting. That is a nice plot reveal they haven't spoiled. That I did not see coming, and that is a really high potential, especially with what they say in the previous the next time on. Really interesting, and we guessed all of the big plot things, even Mirror Universe, from very early on, from the mirror shot in the mirror. You know, now we don't know where it's going. Really. That's exciting. It's only 2 episodes though, but it's exciting.
It should be stated too that this one felt almost like a season finale with the way it ended. This could have been a cliffhanger for a season finale, but there's still 2 more episodes left.
This needed to be a 2-parter with more budget to build the ship out more and give us more of a fight, but it was a wrapped up single-parter. But they keep doing like end of arc plot. Final episode, then end of arc plot episode, then end of arc plot episode. They keep resetting it, as news article said. They rebooted it to a Mirror Universe plot, where we ignore the Klingon arc now. We're going back to the Klingon arc, but it's a totally different Klingon arc because time has passed. It's a weird show, guys. It's a weird show, but I enjoyed the episode. Payoffs are good. Love where it's going, and that's what I took away from it. So that's exciting.
What's your ranking of it?
Oh god. I mean, things it's so much better than the first Discovery episodes. Apart from I say the lazy, all the shootouts are quite lazy, but it's good build up. Probably I'll agree 8.5 in that range. Again, I really want to go back when we finish the season, and look back. What do we score each episode, and you know, maybe even rewatch them all and say, now we know the plot. Are they all the same?
Yeah.
You know, what is actually our best favorite episode and what is our least favorite? But yeah, I think 8.5 is fair. Strong with a few distinct weak parts, but strong and a really great ending and a really great potential. I'm done.
Awesome. So guys, what are your thoughts? How do you rank it? Put it down in the comments below. We look forward to hearing it all the time. If you want to help us make this show a regular thing, which it has been for quite a while, but if you want to help us out, you can do so.
Other episode reviews mean? Or review other things?
Well, we got lots planned. There's going to be lots of episodes based on this episode in the week to come. We got a lot to talk about and theorize on because it's really fun and it opens up everybody's minds to new possibilities and new theories and gets the community talking, which is fun. Yep. If you want to help with that, go down, click the link below for Patreon, help us out on a monthly basis, or head on over to Trekyards.com and click the donate button for a one-time donation or a tip just to say thank you for doing what we do. And hopefully you guys tune in. So,
or of course just share.
Speaking of tuning in, he'll tell you how to do that.
Oh, Stuart, we do a lot of shows. Have done for a lot of weeks. 3 years of weeks, in fact. So we've got a lot of great backlog there. Go back if you've enjoyed Star Trek, our content. Look back at all our ships, our interviews, our celebrity guests, our actor guests, all that great stuff, and share any videos you like. It helps grow the channel. This video, we love doing these reviews, and people seem to love them. It's a scene by scene breakdown of the episode. Pretty damn in depth, and we love hearing people that say, well, great things. So if you do, just share it, and like Stuart said, support us if you can. That'd be amazing. But until next time, and the penultimate episode.
Don't forget, they got to subscribe, click the notification button so they don't miss anything, and visit the Facebook page where we have discussions about ships all the time. Some really talented people on there.
And Stuart, that's why you're the captain, because you remember all these great things.
That's right. So,
until the penultimate
episode. Yes.
We'll see you for.
Right. Anyway, I'm Captain Foley.
Hi, Gordon Collins.
Bye.
Bye, guys.